Today, we break down gut testing because every symptom you are experiencing connects back to your gut. The GI map stool test result is used to understand why you're having persistent skin breakouts, lingering acne, low energy, stubborn weight gain, and so on. This is a video that would have saved me years of time and energy as I went on a 6-year journey of healing hormonal acne naturally. But why is your gut relevant? Who cares? Here's a stat that will give you some perspective because your gut is home to an estimated 100 trillion microorganisms. This includes bacteria, viruses, fungi that we're going to see in this test report today, and 30 trillion human cells. This means for every human cell, there are 3 microbial cells. So we are technically made up of more microbial cells than human ones. 70 to 80% of our immune system, it's housed in the gut. When something is off in your gut, it impacts every system in your body. So, what if you were able to test your gut? So, enter stool testing. This is an at home test. It's just as glamorous as it sounds. You take a sample of your poop, which you put into a little container vial situation that gets shipped out to the lab. The lab processes that for you, and then we get to see your results. Hi, my name is Gideon. I am a woman's hormone coach and I help women balance their gut and their hormones naturally. There's 6 pages that we're going to be going through together. And what you need to understand is that this is a diagnostic test, which means that doctors use it to diagnose. As a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, we're looking to see what is happening in the train of your gut and whether this is causing a lack of good digestion, how this relates to the symptoms that you are experiencing. There are normal bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, intestinal health markers. We're going to go through this together today. And it's important for you to first understand how to read these results. So if you see right here on this first page, you see Campylobacter, and you see the result is DL. This means below detectable limit. On the right-hand side, you'll see the reference range. And you can see that the rat lab is looking for 1.00 e to the 3, which is scientific notation for exponents, meaning 1,000. It's 1,000 colony forming units per gram of stool. And the absolute first thing after we look at this first page, we see bacterial pathogens, parasitic pathogens, viral pathogens. None are detected in the stool. H. pylori at the top, we'll come back to that. The first thing I like to look at after page 1 is your normal commensal keystone bacteria. When we look at your train, this is what we care about. So this test specifically is showing us an imbalance in both good and bad bacteria. You see some big things glaring at you in the red over here. So Bacteroides is high. 3.21, you see this is e to the 11. The reference range is e to the 11 from e to the 9. And Bifidobacterium is low, e to the 7. We also see Escherichia is high, Lactobacillus is low, Akkermansia is a species that is below detectable limit over here. So let's zoom in on what this really means. Low levels of Bifidobacterium, Lactobacillus indicates lacking good bacteria. This is good bacteria that your body needs to control inflammation, support digestion, and properly detoxify hormones. Without these, excess hormones like estrogen can recirculate, leading to acne. High levels of Bacteroides, as I said over here, Escherichia as well, can cause inflammation in the gut, which translates into systemic inflammation in the body, a trigger for breakouts. So too much of a good thing is not good either. We like to see these markers. I like to see these markers somewhere in the green. Akkermansia here, low, which can suggest that the sample, they didn't detect this species. Or if you're specifically targeting with probiotics, well, now that Akkermansia is low, you can know to tell your client, hey, you want to add in more reds or specific foods to help support this. In the phyla section down here, we're looking at 2 key groups of bacteria, Bacteroides and Firmicutes. When Bacteroides is too high, it can cause inflammation, leading to breakouts, making it also harder to manage weight. Firmicutes, on the other hand, help heal the gut and support healthy skin and energy. But if they're too low, it can lead to more acne, difficulty with weight control. So, what we really look at is a ratio between the two. Now, as we move on to the top over here, we had H. pylori. So H. pylori is a type of bacteria that is present in the stomach. It is quite common and it's often present in small amounts, so you're asymptomatic. So H. pylori damages your stomach lining, it messes with stomach acid. So if you allow it to overgrow without addressing it, this leaves room for opportunistic bacteria and bacteria you don't want to thrive. When you have strong foundational stomach acid, then it can kill bacteria, preventing overgrowth, but when it's low, it does the opposite. It can also make it harder to absorb key nutrients like zinc, B vitamins, which are crucial for clear skin and balanced hormones. Without addressing it, this can lead to yeast overgrowth, opportunistic bacteria, and so on. So you can see here that the reference range is E to the 3. It's E to the 2. It's below the reference range, but it is still detective. So it's definitely something to look at in order to eliminate. The GI map also shows valence factors for H. pylori. It all came back a negative result. And these are special traits that make the bacteria even more harmful. Now we're going to move on to opportunistic bacteria. And I'm going to decrease this one. There you go. So you can see this first section on this page, on page 3, is all your opportunistic bacteria broken down. And then at the bottom, we've got fungi, yeast, and viruses, which are not detected. Let's start up here. So this section of the GI map shows an overgrowth of bad bacteria that can disrupt your gut, lead to skin, weight issues, tons more issues. We're looking at this test more in the lens of acne, so that's why I keep bringing up skin. For example, Pseudomonas, Citrobacter are too high, which can cause inflammation in the gut. This inflammation can trigger hormonal imbalances, making your acne worse, and then it becomes this cycle. And so when harmful bacteria like these are high, they're taking over, your body then struggles to detoxify properly. It needs more added support. And we can see that clearly with the amount of opportunistic bacteria that are blaring red high on this page. And just because something's not high, we can also see that it's present. So Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, E to the 2, the reference range is E to the 3. That's why they're not flagged, but they're still quite present and prevalent. You do want a little bit of the bad, but you don't want so much overgrowth because that's when it causes issues in the body. And down here, I'm going to bring this to your attention because these are commensal bacteria, Escherichia. We saw this commensal right here on the last page as well. And I'm showing this to you because it's also in the opportunistic section along with the good section. And the reason for this is when certain commensal bacteria overgrow or become imbalanced, they can turn problematic. This is when inflammatory issues can arise, particularly with sensitive systems. There's a section here showing you autoimmune related bacteria. When we look at this section down here, no viruses, fungi / yeast. So Candida is a type of yeast you may have already heard of that naturally lives in small amounts in your gut, your mouth, your skin. And in healthy amounts, it doesn't cause problem, but when it overgrows, it can lead to issues, bloating, fatigue, acne, skin rashes, and more. So much more. And this overgrowth can happen when your gut, again, is out of balance. You really want to look at diet for this, especially if your immune system is weakened, you're dealing with other gut problems. And it usually works well hand in hand. It's friends with H. pylori. And so they tend to hang out together in that way. H. pylori, creating that weakened stomach lining, creates an environment where Candida can really thrive. Together, they trigger inflammation, nutrient deficiencies. It impacts your hormones, leading to acne, digestive issues, low energy, and so on. And so even though they seem like separate issues, they often team up to cause more problems in your body. And so it's nice that the GI map gives us insight to whether or not it was detected in your stool sample. And it's important to remember that the GI map, it doesn't show everything. It gives you valuable insights. For example, Candida can look like it's below detectable limit right over here, but that doesn't mean it's not there. It might just be hiding or at low levels, too low to detect, but it can still contribute to problems such as bloating, skin issues, and so on. And that is why we are always looking at not just what your results show. We're not treating your results alone. We're looking at your symptoms, you as a human, to see the big picture. This is the second last page of the test. And in terms of markers, this is pretty much the last page. We've got parasites up here, none were detected. And then our intestinal health markers with 2 add-on markers that you can add on to the GI map. And I love adding in Zonulin because this gives us really great information for leaky gut, which I'll explain as we go through what these markers mean. Starting off with steatocrit. It's very low, which is below detectable limit. This is fantastic. You don't want this marker high because it's a measure of fat absorption in your stool. So we want to see it low so you're not losing fat in your stool. That's good. What is elastase 1? This is super high for this person, which means your pancreas, the organ that helps with your digestion, is working extra hard. We want to check if you're having any problems digesting fats or other foods. Beta-glucuronidase, it's an enzyme produced by certain gut bacteria. Its role is it breaks down substances that need to be eliminated by the body. This includes hormones like estrogen. Now, when beta-glucuronidase levels are high, it can cause hormones, especially estrogen, to be reabsorbed back into your bloodstream instead of being eliminated. This process, called hormone recirculation, can lead to other issues down the line, which is why it's a fantastic marker to have over here. Blood in the stool, not detected. Fantastic. SIG-A is giving us information about your immune system and how that's working. It's elevated, which means that your immune system is working over time. And because it's fighting something like that overgrowth in that bad bacteria or food sensitivities. Anti-gliadin, IgA, is in normal range, which means that your body isn't reacting too strongly to gluten, but it could be causing some irritation. Eosinophil activation protein is an inflammation marker, as is calprotectin. They're both in the green, but higher than I like to see them. And then I want to talk about these 2 add-on tests down here. So zonulin is one I typically add on, less so the stool gluten peptide. This one is what's measuring fragments of gluten that are present in your stool. So if gluten peptides are showing up in your stool, it means your body is not fully breaking down and digesting gluten properly. So this is where, you want to remove gluten for at least a period of time to help support your body. Now, zonulin, I love zonulin because this is a protein that helps to regulate the tight junctions. I talk about the leaky gut skin connection all the time. The tight junctions in the lining of your intestines. And so these tight junctions, they're like gatekeepers. It controls what gets in and out of your bloodstream. When your zonulin levels are too high, this allows those undigested food particles, toxins, bacteria to leak into your bloodstream. This is often called leaky gut. And so you can definitely see some level of leaky gut happening over here, which is definitely not being helped by that H. pylori. Again, more information for us to better support this person. Now, the last page is showing antibiotic resistant genes to H. pylori. So if you choose to go down the route of antibiotics to eradicate H. pylori, you can see which genes you are or aren't resistant to. Here, it's none of the above. And the absolute final page is showing universal antibiotic resistant genes. One thing I love about the commensal bacteria is you can really target the types of bacteria that you're giving someone to support, right? You could be giving a woman Escherichia or Bacteroidetes, not realizing they're already high. So this, along with blood work, sometimes the Dutch hormone test, are all very powerful tools in combination to really get a deeper understanding of what is happening inside your body and then create a very specific plan of action to support that. Don't guess, test. Have the data. I can make a separate video all about the Dutch hormone test or blood work specific to acne. This is what I support women with. So if you'd like to book a free call to see if I can help you, that link will be in the description. You can catch my 6-year hormonal acne journey right over here and the link to the acne playlist for this channel down below. And as always, I am sending you so much love wherever you are.
I wanna know your name. Baby, you're bubbly and radiant. You got some flavor and I'm trying to savor it. Palm gripped on the fruit.